gentlemen. Joining us are Luka Brekovic and Foster Lawyer, along, of course, with Coach Bob Mckillop. Gentlemen, congratulations, and we'll take an opening statement from you, Coach, whenever you're ready.
I thought our guys started fast and put us in a position where our defense created offense for us. We were terrific at making shots and getting stops and giving us that very big cushion at halftime. Allowed us to go into that second half and feel confident. And our shots didn't fall in the second half, but our defense didn't quit. Despite the numbers that they shot, I think our defense was very, very good the entire game.
Questions for the players, please. Rest in the back.
John Titel from hoopshd.com. For either of you, great game by Grant off the bench, a perfect game. In fact, didn't miss a shot, didn't commit a turnover. Your starting five is amazing. What does it mean to have him coming off the bench and playing his best when it matters the most?
Yeah, that's been real important for us. I think you've seen in the last 2 games, but even further back than that, the last 4 or 5 games of the regular season, he stepped in and did a phenomenal job. The couple games I was out and really built that confidence. He comes off the bench and gives us, an energy and a defensive intensity that's been really, really, really good for us and kind of set the tone. And then, when he's able to knock down a couple threes, make his free throws and do things like that, that's just another huge bonus. We've had a lot of guys step up and give us great contributions here off the bench.
On the side, go ahead, sir.
Hey, it's Ron Bailey, Rivals.com. You guys, you run a lot of Princeton stuff in your offense. But when you come into a game, do you feel as though that's an advantage, considering most people don't see it and many more people don't know how to react to it? Is that an advantage for you?
I just think we just go out there and play, so we have tons of reads. Coach really trusts us to make the right reads, so I'm not sure if I would call it a Princeton offense. It's just we get a lot of trust from our coaches, and he trusts us to do the right read, and our players just practice really hard, so we know each other really, really well and know where the other one likes the ball, so that really helps to find the right spot.
Question for the players. Yes? The blue shirt, go ahead, sir.
Luka, you haven't scored much the last 2 days, but you had 5 assists today. Do you feel like you went into this game having an emphasis on trying to play inside out, or is that something that really just kind of came naturally to you reading the defense as the game went on?
No, it came naturally. I wasn't going into this game thinking I'm going to pass the ball a lot or I'm going to score a lot. I was just trying to see what the defense gives me. It wasn't my best game shooting-wise, but, that happens. So if you can help your team scoring, you got to find other ways to help. So I just try to share the ball a little bit, and if I see I was overplayed, I just try to make the right read.
For the players? Any other questions? Who has their hand up? I'm sorry. Oh, no? All right. Sorry about that. All right, gentlemen, we will release you then back to your locker rooms. Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys.
And now we'll take questions for Coach Mckillop. Over here on the side. Yes, go ahead, sir.
Coach, I'd ask you the same thing. Do you feel as though using the short burst cuts, the high side-to-side dribble, the 5-out, the constant motion and stuff, which people attribute to the Princeton offense, do you think that that's an advantage for your team?
Well, first of all, I don't know that it's the Princeton offense. I played for a guy named Paul Linner in college from Hofstra University, and Paul Linner was an assistant for Bill Van Bredikoff, who also was a coach at Hofstra. So maybe we could call it the Hofstra offense. Maybe we'll call it the Queens neighborhood offense, because this is stuff that you run back when you're in the schoolyards at Reese Park or Rockaway, West 4th Street. This is just basketball. Guys are moving, guys are making reads, guys are handling the ball, and everyone could play every position. And if you recall, one of the great demonstrations of that was not Princeton, but it was what Fordham did with Digger Phelps back in 1970, 69, 70, when they captivated the city and had sellout crowds in the Garden every night. So that's the environment I grew up in, and I grew up with the Knicks, with Reed and Frazier and Bradley and DeBuscher and Barnett and so it's just the same thing in which 5 guys move the ball, 5 guys move themselves, and they help each other out.
In the front row. Go ahead, sir.
Nick Lawrence of Mid-Major Madness. Talk about Foster Loyer today. I mean, he led the way with 21 points. It just seemed like he was being an outstanding floor general today.
Well, for him to be out for the duration of, I think, 4 games and then to come back and hit the road running like he has, sensational. He had an outstanding game against Dayton last Saturday. He's had 2 outstanding performances here. He runs our offense. He does a sensational job of just positioning the ball where we're able to be very lethal. And I think his greatest asset is his leadership. This is a young man that he's got leadership, he's got coaching written all over his future. So we're lucky to have him.
Go ahead, Daniel.
Hi, Coach. Daniel Frank from A10 Talk. This is the first time since 2018 that Davidson has been back to the A10 championship game. What has it taken to get your program back to this big stage? And do you see similarities between this team and that one?
Well, first of all, the A10 is an incredibly difficult conference. And you referenced 2018. Remember, there wasn't a tournament in 19. Is that correct?
20.
20. Okay. So not many teams have been back since 18. So because of the toughness of this conference, I think getting back to the championship game is a mountain that is very difficult to climb. And we've been now, I think you alluded to it last night, 7 straight times we made the semifinals.
Yes.
I don't know that anyone can match that in our 7 years in the conference. That's a pretty, so it's not like we're chopped liver and been out and, hanging out in the playground. We've been in the fight the whole time.
Nick, gentleman next to you. Go ahead, sir.
Joe Szymanski, by George. Coach, you guys really shut down Gibson Jimerson today. He was only 3 for 10 from 3 for 12 from the field. What was kind of your guys' game plan to deal with him and his ability to really get going from the 3-point range?
Well, Gibson's had a sensational, absolutely sensational year. He's been lethal in many of St. Louis's victories. And I think Mike Jones is a vastly underrated defender. And we all know Mike as a terrific 3-point shooter and cutter, but I think his defense is superb. So I credit Mike's length as a big reason for that, and the help that the big guys gave on a lot of those screens and handoffs.
Is there a final question for the coach? Yes, back to the gentleman in the blue.
Tyler Cronin, 3-bid league. Coach, I actually want to expand on his question, and I was impressed to see what Mike Jones was able to do on defense today. In preparation, do you feel like you had any kind of advantage in getting him ready for that assignment, given that both he and Gibson Jimerson have some very similar offensive positives to their game?
It's a great analysis. And remember, well, you probably don't remember, but the last time we played him at our place 3 weeks ago, Michael guarded him also. And I think Gabe had a very difficult time at our place as well. So I think it's Mike's length, his anticipation, and I never thought about this before, but you kind of brought it to mind, is that when you're playing a player that's similar to yourself, you know how to defend that player. And maybe that's the answer.
All right, Coach, thank you very much for your time. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
We'll be joined here shortly by St. Louis. Oh, you have no, that's okay.
I'm lucky I made it.
You want to go ahead and start with your opening
Yeah.
statement, we can do that. Go ahead.
All right. Yeah, jump in here anywhere. First of all, as I told our team, I still have voicemails, I still have emails talking about when Javonte went hurt that y'all could have had a great season. Man, hate to hear that. You guys had a chance to have a good year. And as I told our team, we're sitting here with 23 wins and, played well here in D.C. for the most part. And there's a lot to be said for our team, and we need to keep our heads up. Today wasn't our day. Today wasn't our day. Davidson, I thought, brought their A game. They were terrific, and we did not. And you got to give them a lot of credit. We just weren't our best today. We looked like we'd kind of run out a little bit of gas, but you don't want to make excuses. But it just wasn't our day. And Davidson had a lot to do with that. Give them credit. As I told them, when you got to play a team like Davidson, who's only lost 4 or 5 games out of the year, you got to have we had to brought our A game, and we just didn't have it in us today. But I'm still very proud of these guys and proud of the season they've had and thus far, and proud of how they represented themselves here in D.C. and give Davidson the credit. Again, just one of those games. I've been a part of you hope you could have played better because you're going to need it, but we just didn't have it in us today.
Questions for the players first, please. Yes. On the aisle here, if we get a microphone, please.
I guess for TJ maybe first. When one of the big things is to slow them from the three-point line, it's harder to do than just saying it. Is part of the issue or the trouble that they have so many weapons that can score out there?
Yeah, I mean, like Coach said, you got to give them credit. Davidson is a hard team to guard. They live on the three-point line. And, we could have did a better job by guarding them with the three, but I mean, you got to give them credit. I mean, they're a good basketball team. They're a well-shooting team. I'm happy with our performance this season. 23 wins, like Coach said. Did nobody expect us to be even sitting here, with 23 wins after we lost Javonte. So it's like, I'm proud of all of us as this one. I mean, we did our thing this season, for real.
Ron Bailey, Rivals.com. Excuse me. How difficult is it to guard them considering their ball and people movement? They're constantly moving, shortcuts, getting advantages as such. How difficult is that, and how much does it stress your communication defensively?
Like you just said, they're constantly moving. Like, they're not a stagnant team. Like, they just don't sit there. Like, it's always something they're doing. They're always coming off a stagger. They're always using a ball screen. They're always using a flare. Like, they're always moving, and that's hard to guard, And like I said, you gotta give them credit.
Question for the players. Yes. Get the mic. There we go. Thank you.
For Fred, you guys knew that playing a lot of games in a lot of days was going to be tough. Did you feel like the third game in 3 days at all caught up with you guys, and you specifically, were you okay out there playing with third?
The third game, 3 games in 3 days is extremely tough. You can kind of see it. This game we just played, we kind of looked a little fatigued at the end. It was times where it caught up with us. We kind of ran out of gas a little bit, but I mean, at the end of the day, everybody's doing it, so you got to just man up and try to fight through it, and today just wasn't our day.
Any other questions for the players? Yes, go ahead, sir, again.
For both of you, I guess the expectation now is you go home and likely get an NIT bid. Does the team want to play in the NIT, or can the team get excited to play in the NIT next week?
I think we can. I mean, we got a lot of older guys, who for some people, it's going to be the last time they get to play college basketball. And I mean, just basically with the team we have, we always seen an obstacle and we always tried to fight it and go with it and just give it our all. So I think, we get an NIT. I definitely think we're going to come play and we're going to try to win the thing. I mean, we're just going to give it our all.
Do you want TJ to answer that as well?
Yeah, I mean, I want to make our seniors' basketball season, college season, last as long as possible. We have a good team, older guys like Fred said, a lot of experienced guys as well. So we got a great chance of winning the NIT, and it's an honor to even be playing in the NIT postseason. So, you know, it's a blessing to still be able to play basketball because there's most teams that would love to be sitting here in our position. So, just got to take full advantage.
Gentlemen, thank you for your time. We'll let you go back to your locker room. And now, any additional
Good job,
questions
yes.
for Coach Ford? Over here on the side again, if we get a microphone.
Oh, second half, I think you came out 1-3-1. You threw a lot of different presses at him, diamond, trap. You know, you run and jump. You were just trying to get stuff going. Talk about that challenge of trying to dial something up to get you back in the game when you're so far behind.
Yeah, it's a hard team to do it against. And you're 100% correct. We were trying everything. We never could go on a run. We never felt like we were gaining any momentum. So we were trying to do something to try to get our juices flowing a little bit. And, you know, there was just a lot of stats that we look at that just are not, you know, we had 0 offensive rebounds in the first half. I mean, we missed a lot of layups. I think they outscored us in the paint, which is unusual. They out-rebounded. I mean, those things, you know, that's what a team has to do, you know, needs to do to beat us, and that's what they did, and they made threes. So give them credit. But, yeah, we were trying a lot of things, and none of them seemed to work.
Questions? Go ahead, sir.
Francis obviously had 2 great games in the first 2 games, and today was limited. I don't think he had a field goal. Just one of those days for him where they were.
Well, I think we all, you know, yeah, just one of those days when, you know, it just wasn't there for him today. We missed a lot of it wasn't just him, a lot of guys. We had some great opportunities we couldn't get to go down, and you know, and to beat a team like Davidson, when they're playing the way they're playing, like that, then everything kind of needs to go right. You need, you know, you got to, all the little things need to be right. None of the little things were right for us. None of them. You know, we had Uri in foul trouble. We were missing layups. We weren't rebounding the basketball. Give them credit. But those are things usually we kind of hang our hat on. And in any sport, when you got 2 teams playing, one team's going to try to take the strengths away from the other team, and they did a good job taking ours away, and that's usually the bottom line. And then the other team usually ends up winning. It's not usually really hard to figure out.
Go ahead. Oh, let's let him go first. Go ahead, sir.
Hey, Coach. Fred mentioned it, Terrence mentioned it, but do you see maybe the NIT as an opportunity to maybe end the year on a more positive note, or is that something you're...
Yeah, it's a hard question for those guys to answer right now. We actually talked, it's very difficult. You gotta realize what these guys have been through in 3 days. They are emotionally and mentally drained, physically drained. And as I told them, we'll talk about all that when we get back. But that's a tough question. You know, they're not thinking about that right now. They're not. You gotta, you know, they answered it extremely well, the way I'd want them to answer it. We're gonna have to get back, regroup a little bit, get our legs under us, and freshen up, and see what's next. And whatever's next, if we get in the NIT, and that's what we do, then we'll try to rally the troops and be our best. But it's difficult. It's hard. I mean, right now they're just disappointed we didn't make it till tomorrow. That's all they're thinking. That's all, you know, and that's kind of everybody's mindset. I mean, we know where we sit, and so it's hard to think about what's next as we sit here right now after the 3 days we've had and not playing well today.
Go ahead, sir.
They hit you with, you know, that rash of threes in both the games you played in the first half. Just what did you think is the key to trying to slow that down and get them off the line or whatever?
Well, obviously we don't know what that is. We didn't do it, so we're still trying to figure that one out. You know, yeah, we changed a few things. It didn't work. Yeah, you know, you just can't leave them open, and they're cutting and moving and screening leaves them open, and you gotta be running on all cylinders, and we were not running on all cylinders. We knew it in the first time out. Kind of looking at our guys, and we're trying to, you know, get them going here, and I can't, you know. I wish we would have played better for them today. I hate that we didn't play well today, but these guys have given it up. I mean, I can't, you know, I can't fault them as far as their effort and their intent to try to go out and play well. It just wasn't in us today.
Is there a final question for Coach Ford?
Good, thank you.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.